up, Juju. Time to go to work.
All right, can we talk about
Wake up, I get it, I get it, 1, 2, 3, hey. Wake up, I get it, I go with everyone saying I'm up next. It's not my fault that the vocals are gold, they're making the haters so upset. My life is a movie, the way that I roll. They saying I'm goofy, but baby, you know I'm making everybody obsessed. Cause we the best, how we get wrapped, and I know we gonna get bread, we gonna get bread. We gonna get bread, we gonna get bread. We gonna get bread, we gonna get bread.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Juju Green, aka Straw Hat Goofy, your movie guy, and I'm sitting here with the director of him, Justin Tipping. How's it going, bro?
So good.
Yeah, chilling.
Yeah, chilling.
I saw you being real active outside.
Yeah, yeah. I'm lying. I'm hot because I was just I was throwing footballs, but
You look pretty good though. I saw you on that agility test, man. Like that agility, you was good, bro.
No, yeah.
Did you beat
I
everybody?
locked in. I missed one. I was trying to beat Tyreek. That was my only goal, and then I missed one. It was like
Got a little
damn.
cocky.
But yeah,
Hey,
a little bit.
in order to be him, you got to be a little cocky, a little arrogant, a little bit.
Yeah.
So you just locked in.
I locked in.
You true to this. You true to the material. I saw this movie a couple days ago, and I was just about to tell you, it's one of those movies that like you just can't stop thinking about. There's a lot of symbolism and metaphor that's kind of like baked into it, right? And I don't want to get like so far in the spoilers because like obviously the movie doesn't come out yet, but I just want to like ask you, man, like the idea of a sports like genre and the horror genre, like we don't normally see that, right? Like I think this is like a first of its kind in a feature length format. And I just want to know, what was the lightning bolt that made you go, we could totally make something like this happen?
So I got this, and it was more like the mashup itself, trying to take on thematically what happens when the athlete becomes the commodity, and the American football itself is so violent, or can be violent, that there's inherent body horror.
Yeah.
So I think once that's all started to like hit the same Venn diagram of horror, what does it take to be the greatest of all time, and it just made sense.
Yeah.
It was more almost just felt than like I knew exactly what the lightning was. It just felt right, and now I can like look back and talk about it. But there's something about the material that just made sense.
Yeah. So, you have what I like to call the Snuggie idea,
what's
is so listen. Patent pending, but what I like to call the Snuggie idea is an idea that's just so ridiculously simple, and it's so like right there in your face, and it makes so much sense. But for some reason, nobody has thought of it before, right? Like blanket with sleeves. It's like, oh, of course, like that's a slam dunk, right? And so what you just said about football, how gladiatorial it is, how like inherently body horror it is, like that makes perfect sense to like set a horror, especially when we talk about what does it take to be the greatest of all time. Which is a question that I really want to get into you with this. Well, not more so a question, more of an observation, right? I love the title of him because, like, obviously the phrasing of him is like so baked into our cultural DNA, language-wise, of like him equals the greatest of all time, right? You are that guy. You're that one. And what I find funny is that in order to be the greatest of all time, you have to be him. And the greatest of all time means GOAT. GOAT is mostly associated with paganism, like evil, Satan. So in a way, him in its secret type of way is giving us what the movie is about. Yeah. Right? Like sacrifices to the devil and like the occult and things of that sort.
Absolutely.
Was that something that like when it came to the titling of this movie, something you thought about?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Fun story. Anecdote. It was originally called GOAT. Okay. Then Steph Curry bought the rights to GOAT. Okay. That part. So shout out Steph for stealing as I steal, I was the first to just drop the cash necessary to trademark GOAT. I think he's making an animated thing or something.
The trailer just dropped like a week ago.
Oh yeah. So that's why. But I think it was a blessing in disguise for sure, because as soon as that got taken, it was like, well, what then?
Right.
And honestly, I think that looking back, it's like this is way more nuanced and
100%.
and crosses, both like music and fashion and sports. So and the religious iconography that comes with it.
It's that's a funny story, bro, because I'm over here thinking like,
Well, I was like, I could totally just say, so like, yeah, of course. I was like, no, what happened was Curry bought it.
I was literally like I said, it's a movie that I just like every little bit of it I can't stop thinking about, and like I made that realization. So I do this a lot. I just sit up at night and I just think about like movies and theories and stuff like that, and I was just thinking to myself, goat is evil. What? And then the simple answer was just Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it
But
should
there
have been.
is, but there is.
Yeah.
There is though. So there's a lot of. I grew up Catholic Filipino, so there is a lot of religious iconography.
Yes.
Kind of throughout.
Yeah.
And him is also in relation to him, and there's a lot of what I was in the back of my mind for the subconscious stuff was the story of the scapegoat.
Yes.
Which that is the scapegoat in religious context. Like there's two goats for sacrifice, and they carry all the sins of the people. And the scapegoat is the one that gets sent into the wilderness and doesn't return. And then there's the blood sacrifice. And I always found that fascinating in terms of like celebrity worship and athletes, where
100%.
who holds all the weight of the people, and we treat them like we get angry and yell and like, how could you do that? You've offended me and my family and my ancestors for like dropping a catch. But that feeling that
it gets serious though. No, the sports it gets serious like that.
It gets serious, and so like tapping into the weight, like that gravity of divinity in these like mass cultural events,
Right.
And so yes, and not only paganism, but absolutely, it like was working with all those things.
You know what's so interesting to me is that I had a question I was going to ask you, and I think you already answered it with like, the choice to do football over any sport, right? Because you could have said, I'm him in basketball, I'm him in golf, like, like you could do that anywhere. But football, I feel, is the only sport, American football, I should say, because, international football kind of has like an element of this as well, is that it almost has like a cult following and a cult like almost sensibility to it in and of itself. Like, the tailgating of the fans, like what fans are willing to do dress up wise, what I'm saying? Like you said, they think that you offended their entire ancestorhood dropping a pass, there's a cultness to it. Even like the ritual of kind of like putting on the helmet, coming out the tunnel, like the hero the worshiping of the heroes and things like that. It's very gladiatorial. So was there at any point just kind of like, maybe we should go into a different direction of like basketball or any other sport? Was football always the one to go to?
No, football was always the one to go to. That's kind of where it started originally. And there was never really like what if. It was just how. But not to say that it can't be franchised.
I mean, let's look at the camera. Just keep that one more time.
Not that it can't be franchised.
Just saying. Like, listen, I would like to see
him basketball, her golf.
Ooh,
I don't.
Ooh,
I'm riffing.
Ooh, no, her tennis.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I'm pretty sure. Sorry, this is so random.
No, please.
Rick Ross was a tennis player, the drug dealer.
Wait, what?
From South Central.
What?
Yeah, we had fact checked on this, but
we'll get fact checked on it. But
I'm pretty sure he got tennis itself was like too racist to like. It was just like
really.
And he wanted to be like a tennis player, and that's why he didn't go to like school.
That's crazy.
And then he ended up selling drugs and became like the Rick Ross freeway.
That's crazy.
Anyway, we're making a new movie together.
Listen, her. Tennis.
Listen,
and I want to see that racket with the blood off the poster. Like, like we're giving ideas right here, man.
Yeah,
we're doing the whole thing.
Serena Venus.
So,
damn, sorry, that's a good tangent.
No, it's all good. No, we're good. We're good.
Him.
That's what we're talking about. Another thing that I really liked about this movie, because again, it having me thinking is the language that is used within this movie. Like there's this quote that Marlon says in this movie where he says, "He died for us, so I do it for him," right? And I feel like that's such a loaded quote, right? Because you can like take that as like, oh, we're talking about Jesus, we're talking about God, the Trinity, or we're talking about him down below. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I just want to know, man, like when it comes to like film and the occult and like kind of like marrying that with real life and kind of like in a way shining a light on that, how do you see like the relationship between like real life occult and like what you're trying to portray like on screen? Like was there any research going into that at all?
Like actually connecting an occult to professional athletes. I mean, the research I did was pop culture, because those, like, so many people have the theories that how could Tom Brady play as long as he can?
Yeah.
How could
How's LeBron doing
how's
it
LeBron
for 20
doing
years?
it? And what does that actually look like? What does that actually take? And like, so in fact, yeah, I remember just watching interviews with Tom Brady and him just talking to some other young quarterback, and was like, "Oh, let me get your youth." Like I'm like, that's fucking. I don't even have to try.
Right.
Like, because
It's right there in your face.
most athletes, it's their whole identity and personhood, and the tragedy for them is it ends, and then they have to live the rest of their life. Whereas like Picasso, or could paint up until his deathbed, right? Like the thing you love, and you can like service to the world. You can do forever, but for athletes, there is going to be a definitive day to hang them up. And I don't even know what we're talking about. I don't think I want to answer the question.
No, I think you did. I think you did, because I like what you said when there's like a difference between kind of like, athletes and I want to say like artists. You can make an argument that, being an athlete is a form of art in and of itself, just more physical. But I made this distinction when I was talking about like Denzel Washington, right? And just like actors that are kind of like getting up there in age, actors and directors, where they can act until like, the day of their death. Like we've seen it before. But what I find interesting in that is that I'm like losing the train of thought of where I was going. Like we don't think of talented directors and actors kind of like retiring because they can do it forever. And if they're doing it at such a long pace, I'm thinking to myself, there really is no drop off. Like what did they give up? Did they kind of like have to go through something? Like did they have to sacrifice? There's a lot of sacrifice in creating those type of things. So this is a big roundabout philosophical way to ask you, what creatives who are still operating at such a high level that you think to yourself, they had to have made some type of deal with the devil to make it happen?
Trying to get me in trouble.
It doesn't have to be like a serious thing, but like I look at someone like,
You want names?
I want
First, some
names.
government names.
I'll give you one. Like I want to say like George Miller. Right?
Okay.
George Miller has been working for a long time. Martin Scorsese has been working for a long time.
Yeah.
And you would think that like at some point they would just be kind of like, I ain't got no ideas left. But they're still like 40 years in like going, just making like great stuff. So is there any like talent that like you either look up to that is just so amazing that you're just kind of like, how, right? Like how are they doing this?
Yeah. Every day I wake up, I get ready, I look in the mirror, and I just go, damn, how do you do Sorry.
Because you're him.
You thought I was going to leave the
I know, yeah. No. Yeah. How is Quentin Tarantino still making movies? Like, Steven Spielberg, how do you do it?
No, I think Scorsese, I think, is like a GOAT.
Yeah, 100%.
And I absolutely have stolen so many things and hope someone's like, yeah, that's Justin's the Scorsese from the Bay, I think that he's one of those legends, and I think it's like, but there is something else to that though, because I think that everyone in the world, film fans, filmmakers, like everyone can direct at least one film, I believe. Like everyone has their story to tell that only they could tell.
Right.
And so what are you waiting around? Go do it. But they can't. But then the difference is a career as a director is very different. Then you're entering like a whole new side of like a mental, psychological, emotional like regimen, and like, so I have respect for, because it's not an easy industry.
Right.
and going and making a movie is like a daunting task. It feels like they're going to war, and so I think there is similarities to like anyone who's great at what they do, has figured out something, how to persevere, how to be resilient, all those things, all like the Kobe, you know, methodology and just studying everyone else who's ever great at what they do.
Can I tell you something now that you mentioned Kobe? Because Kobe's like my idol, and I've only met one. I met quite a few, but like the person who's closest to Kobe in like the Hollywood like sense, right, is Tom Cruise, right? Like Tom, like I getting the chance to speak to Tom. He just has this level of like focus and dedication and just a little bit of insanity. And I say that in the nicest way, Tom, right? When it comes like an obsession, right? When it comes to
need a little bit.
You need a little bit of that, right? And so I look at people like him. I look at like Christopher Nolan, you know what I'm saying? And like what they're doing. I look at Ryan Coogler, right? And I look at Steven Spielberg, who just has this like unparalleled level of focus, attention to detail that only like they can do, right? And it's something that is like I'm not a director, but like just as a creative, like something to aspire to. Because like you saw what Christopher Nolan did with like, you know, selling out an IMAX screening of The Odyssey a year before it even comes out. And it's like it felt like we just came out of the whole Oppenheimer thing, and we just came out of Tenet before that, and it's just constantly like working at the craft and trying to improve the craft. James Cameron is one of those guys too.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, Jordan Peele, like he's one of those guys that, you know, obviously you've like really close with him. It's just like every time he makes something, like people sit up and go, okay, we're buckling in, because you know they're going to put that attention and detail in it. And so I think it's like very interesting. I always like to equate like movie making to kind of like sports, because there is a level of like focus that goes into it, right? And so, and when I watch your movie and seeing like the attention to detail that you put into it to like make people think, like there's this one moment, and it was at the beginning of the movie where like obviously, you know, the team is the Saviors and they're playing against the Masons, and I'm just thinking like, whoa, wait a minute, like I had to like stop for a second. I said, it's already happening. Like I thought you was gonna give me a little leeway here. Can you talk to me about kind of like that little Easter egg in the movie? Was that just something fun that you wanted to do that just pluses up the movie, or were you like, hey?
I would say throughout every scene in the movie, there's something. And I'm excited for Reddit to do their thing.
Yeah, I like that.
But there's so many, and that was actually the fun of working with like Jordan and Monkey Paw. Was also, we know that, like I knew that was part of even the culture there, and. But that was absolutely a. Also, shout out Taylor Mason's editor.
Hey,
she's from Atlanta.
Okay.
So it was like we had created this team called a fake league, and one of the teams were the Atlanta Masons. And
I like that.
It had nothing to do with Taylor at first. Sorry, but
it became.
But then when we were sitting there looking at the visual effects and all that stuff, there's some. Just right off the bat, like get you ready for, like we're not pulling punches.
Right.
We're aware of what we're doing. There's a level of like meta, I think.
I love a good meta.
Throughout.
I love a good meta. So can you talk to me about your relationship with Marlon? Because, you know, we talked about him a little bit before we started, and obviously, like I said, we've been watching him for a long time, and I feel like a lot of people, audiences, see him in one way. Right, comedically, like, right, he's a comedic goat, as we all know. He's a comedic him, but this is a different role than people are seeing him as, especially if you haven't watched like what's the Requiem for a Dream, right? Yeah, like I would bust his balls and also bring up Dungeons and Dragons. I think he wants people to forget about that one, but we go talk about it. But I
forgot about that.
No, that's what I do.
Yeah,
I'm him when it comes to movies. Yeah. So, but I feel like this is like different, and I want you to talk to me about like his approach to doing a role like this and like his dedication to that.
Yeah, I can't wait for the world to see his performance. I'm so excited for him to get his flowers and all the things, and like, cause damn, incredible. But when we were first talking, I mean, the casting period was also like, wanted somebody older, you know, studio and stuff was already talking about someone younger who had the body.
Right.
And I'm like, absolutely not. age them down.
You gotta have
like you gotta have an actual GOAT. He's an actual GOAT.
You gotta have a Tom Brady
Yeah.
in this world, right?
And he, you know, we grew up where like Richard Pryor was coming into his house when he was like 8 and has stories about it. And just so growing up around that level of fame and that level of celebrity and the amount of experiences that were in parallel with the story we were trying to do, we were talking and he was pulling from all kinds of places to add to and make better and elevate. And I mean, if you I was going to say no offense, but also offensively, if you look at his before photos, before he started training and working out, he like transformed his body.
No, I can see.
Like it was like insane in like a very short amount of time. And I think part of his, he could speak to this better, but part of his physical transformation went hand in hand with his emotional state where he was at in life. And so it kind of coalesced where I think you could feel it on screen and in the character. And I like to improv. And so a lot of it too would be doing takes, and then I would just throw things at him. And then at a certain point we got to such a groove where I would just look at him as like takes were going, and I'd just, you know, do that, and then he'd go, and then it was like we didn't have to say anything. There was nothing communicated other than like a look, and then he'd go off script, and like he just knew when to do it. So yeah, he's incredible.
Oh my gosh. I can't wait. I can't wait for people to see this either. But thank you so much for talking to me about this, man.
Course,
can't wait
you.
for the world to see the performance and him, your direction, man. And I can't wait for Reddit to do its thing when it comes to that.
I can't wait. There's so much. We could be here for hours. Talk about
I also can't wait for Steph Curry to see this episode. You know, let's see what he says about
Mr. Curry. Have your people call my people. Actually, no, you're invited to the premiere, though.
You're the GOAT, him. Let's get it together. Let's mash him up. Guys, I'm sitting here with Justin Tipping. I'm once again Juju Green, a.k.a. your movie guy. And as always, we'll catch you next time when we talk about the next movie.